Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We have such a big crowd. I'm not sure everyone's served yet, but we ought to get on with the program because time is moving on. My name's Rich Terapak, and I'm chair of the CMC Board of Trustees, and it's my privilege to welcome you here today to the beginning of a new fiscal year for us. It's always great to start out a fiscal year with this many people in the room, so thank you for coming. As Andy said earlier, please turn off your cell phone or to a mode that you can tweet. We encourage tweeting during the program. The hashtag is #CMC Forum, and you can follow us at CMC C-Bus Metro Club. That's all noted in the program if I didn't make any sense with that. First of all, a little bit of business. Upcoming forums. Next Wednesday, October 3rd, we have 3 CMC events, actually. Lunchtime forum is Meet the Press, Election Seasoning. We'll feature several journalists who will follow the political scene, including Mike Thompson of our board from WOSU Public Media, Joe Hallett of the Columbus Dispatch, and Jim Heath of WBNS TV. CMC members will also be receiving, if they haven't already, an invitation to an October 3 preview of the Hollywood Casino, a special evening test drive. If you're not interested in doing that, there's a program downtown here, CMC PM's program, on the presidential debate. It's a watching party at Lexi's Deli, which is over in the Chase Building. The fun starts about 8. The debate should start about 9. Make your reservations soon. You can find information about all our upcoming CMC forums and events at our website, columbusmetroclub.org, and in the program. Membership, we love to have new members and encourage that. Members receive discounts on weekly forums and other benefits, including invitations to casino parties. Please notice the names of today's attendees in today's forum flyer at your seats. If you're on the guest side, we'd love to have you move over to the member side. Just check in at a website or with one of the staff members. If you're attending as a guest today or watching on YouTube, you can get the information at our website. Thank you for supporting our programming. Sponsor recognition. On the back of your forum program today, there are a list of nearly 80 companies and organizations. These companies sponsor programs throughout the year, and in doing so, make our forums and membership dues affordable, which is appreciated. We appreciate any leads that you may have if your organization might be interested in a sponsorship. Today's forum is sponsored by SS&G, represented by Mike Bornovich and his associates. Porter Wright, represented here today by our managing partner, Buzz Trafford, and our colleagues. And also a thank you to Giant Eagle. So please let us thank SS&G, Porter Wright, and Giant Eagle for their support. And now it's time to welcome Mike to the stage to introduce our speaker for today.
Thanks, Rich. SS&G is pleased to support the Columbus Metropolitan Club's program today. We've been a supporter of CMC for several years now, and this club just keeps raising the bar and upping the program, so hats off to CMC. When I was asked to introduce Steve Steinour today, I was very happy to do so, even though I had never met Steve until just recently. But I have met and worked with many of Steve's colleagues at the Huntington Bank who I have great friendships with and have a lot of respect for. And I also have a lot of respect for the positive impact and the support that Huntington Bank provides the Central Ohio community. I was asking some of his colleagues on their way in if there was any scoop that I should be sharing today, and everyone seemed to be pretty tight-lipped. So fortunately, I don't have a lot to share, but certainly one of Huntington's many great support to the community is Pelotonia, and I was happy and proud to be a part of that, and I know Steve is, and I certainly have my Huntington jersey in my closet. So the complete biography for Steve is in the forum program, so I will only provide a brief introduction. Steve is the Chairman, President, and Chief Executive Officer of Huntington Bankshare, Inc. He joined Huntington in early 2009 during the midst of the financial banking meltdown, and I remember thinking, good luck. Happy to see he was up for the challenge. He's had an impressive career in the banking and financial services industry. Locally, he is a member of the Columbus Partnership and a trustee of the Columbus Downtown Development Council. Please welcome Steve Steinour.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, I think that applause reflects many years of terrific efforts with our customers and in the community that Jim Kunk and all my colleagues at Huntington have been hard at for many, many years, and a legacy of CEOs. So good afternoon. Honored to be here to share my thoughts and perspectives with all of you. I like that little elephant call we had earlier with the chair shuffling. So normally when a banker gets up to speak, the chairs go the other way. So I'm encouraged. And what a great forum this is. You know, for many, many years, this has been the forum for good community conversation. And I'm especially thrilled to be able to join you and at least offer you my thoughts about some of the current challenges, but especially the opportunities that we have here in Central Ohio and more broadly in the Midwest as a region. And I hope my perspective will resonate a bit, because I think there's a lot to be cheerful about, and we need cheerleaders today, more than ever. Digress for a moment personally, my family and I moved here 4 years ago. We moved from Philadelphia, and the community was, I'm sure, skeptical. Where's he coming? How long is he going to be here? At the same time, the community was incredibly warm in its embrace. And we are proud to call Columbus home wherever we go, and Columbus will be our home when my 10 bosses, they're known as directors of Huntington, talk me into retirement at some point in the future. But it's been with a series of moves from Boston to Philadelphia, none have been up to the experience we have here at Columbus. And I wanted you to know that, because as we continue to grow, we're going to be bringing more people into Central Ohio. We as a community continue to grow. There'll be more and more people. And it's a fabulous, fabulous community. Now, when I came here, as we heard from Mike, this sort of banking cycle and Great Recession and good luck. Well, I heard that from a few people, but quite frankly, the embrace of the community here made all the difference. Made all the difference. The loyalty, the relationships that stayed with us, and in some cases grew, made a huge difference. And that reflects, I think, core values that resonate in the Midwest, like no other region of the country. Loyalty, a value of relationship, of people. These are tremendous attributes. And, you know, for decades, my knowledge of Ohio or the Midwest was permeated by what I read in the press, in the media, saw on TV. And this Rust Belt notion was everywhere. And in 2009, we had automobile bankruptcies. We had a number of challenges. And this Rust Belt thing seemed to be taking on yet a higher tone in the media. Boy, did they get it wrong. Did they get it wrong. Ohio and the Midwest are leading the country out of this malaise. We are a recovery belt, not a Rust Belt. And that's a real tribute to all of you and what you've been doing for many years. Your commitment, your community commitment, that has made it such a rich environment to live in, to come to work in, to prosper. And so those pundits missed that the automobile industry would cycle, but it wasn't going to go away. Our rebirth of manufacturing, our uptick in manufacturing, certainly participated and in some ways possibly led by auto, is much more extensive than that. We have come through this cycle with a lot of economic activity in new industries, in new fields, a la the gas play, gas and oil play. Our health care, preeminent. Biomed research. Thousands of jobs are getting created here in central Ohio, and hundreds of thousands here in Ohio and the Midwest. And it's across the board. Many industries are benefiting from that. So I think this Rust Belt thing, we're going to put in the dustbin. I think as we trumpet, as we promote what is truly happening here, how many cities in America have 5.9% unemployment today? Most would trade to be Columbus. And we've got to be keenly aware of what that means by way of sharing the good news. I'd say promoting, but that's not quite a Midwest value. But sharing the great news of what's occurring here in Ohio, in central Ohio, in the Midwest, and the surrounding areas. These challenges since the 1970s are behind us. We're moving forward. A lot of pain has been absorbed, a lot of commitment reflected. Just think last week, for example. You have a company, a family-owned business, sell an operating entity, and give the community $1 million. The Crane organization, Tanny and Mike and others in the back. It's wonderful. You don't find this in Boston or Philadelphia or other parts of the country where we do business. You find it here in Columbus. Community matters. And as we've seen with this commitment, we've had over 140 economic development initiatives, projects announced since, in central Ohio alone, since this Great Recession started. 20,000 jobs, more than 20,000 jobs, and literally more every week with what's going on with 2020, Columbus 2020, and the partnership and the chamber and all of your efforts and support. And almost the majority, 43% of those 20,000 jobs, in manufacturing. We're not going to China or Asia. We're going to Ohio for manufacturing jobs. And I say that internationally. You see Honda's investments here. $560 million in a powertrain and assembly plant. Now that's, I don't care where you are in the world, that's a lot of money to put in. To lead what will be a next generation of fuel-efficient cars, and to bring about a redesigned power transmission. And these investments reflect a confidence in all of us, in you, in all of us, and in our leadership. And so we're leading the nation. We are leading the nation. It's starting to leak out. It's starting to get recognized. But it's important because businessmen and women who have options want to go where there are winners, where there are leaders, where you can get things done. And you can do that here in Ohio. You had the fortitude to stay with an economy that was transitioning with challenge, and you had now we have the good fortune, and I'm benefiting from your efforts to see an economy that's being rebuilt with a lot of effort and the wisdom to make adjustments in how we go about doing business. And so we've gone from one of the hardest hit states in the country to one of the most attractive in terms of job growth and creation in a remarkably short time. We know it, but I think it's important that we promote it, or with more Midwest modesty, we talk it up. We share it, because this comeback is going to be sustained. We have a lot of bright light in our future. Now, you're starting to read about it in the Wall Street Journal. You're starting to pick it up on other media, and that's reflecting some good work by a number of you. But we're just starting. We've had 3 decades. If you're on the East Coast or West Coast, you're sort of thinking the economic place to be is on the coast. We hear it as we recruit people in to Ohio and to Columbus. When they get here and they see it, and they have the experience that my family and I have enjoyed, they're wondering how they miss it. And part of why I think I missed it is because it wasn't so openly discussed, if not promoted. So how did this happen? How did this happen? I think it's great leadership. Great leadership, not good leadership, at all levels. Start with the state. I think the governor and what he did with the budget was remarkable, along with the legislature, both sides. Both sides. Love what's going on in the county, the city. We are very blessed in terms of leadership and bipartisan leadership that works together to get things done in the state, but also at the national level. We have great representatives from Ohio and Central Ohio at the national level. Now, you don't find this everywhere. Don't assume you're going to get this. If you go just to Illinois, when I came here 4 years ago, there was this question, when would we be going to Chicago? Chicago's coming to us. Illinois is in terrible financial shape. Terrible financial shape. They have nothing but tax increases, and they've already started that cycle. The city's in terrible shape. Chicago's coming to us. We're not going to Chicago. And that's because of the great work that you've done and the leadership we have here. And so the surrounding states, look at the recovery in Michigan, Indiana, the strength in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, chronically an underperformer in a down cycle throughout my life. Not this cycle. We have tremendous resources and assets that are making it possible to build business, to create jobs, to retain and attract. And increasingly we're diversifying those industries as we go. So you look at Columbus, and the kudos just keep coming to us. A model city for the rest of the country in public-private partnership. I love walking the Scioto Mile. I don't like it. I love it. And what Mike Morris and the AEP team and others did, remarkable. How about the park, the Columbus Commons? What a great concert venue. Doug and his team have done wonderful programming. We have world-class assets, literally within blocks of where we are today. And we have lots of examples of success. And the city's getting its appropriate due, and the county and the state are starting to as well. And again, this leadership. You got I mentioned 2020. Kenny, I think, is Alex Fisher on the partnership. I thought Gordon was here, but I didn't see him. If he is, just you know, who wants to go? Who goes from? What is above excellence? How do you go beyond excellence? And I love this aspirational goal, excellence to eminence at OSU, and what that's going to take in terms of collaboration within the university and beyond, with Battelle, with the community. We're on the move. You see it. I certainly love what, I mean, how many cities have philanthropists who give $100 million in the world? How many cities are there? What Les and his family did, Abigail, for the new medical center is just remarkable. And if that's all they did, we'd be fortunate to have them. But quietly, you have 1,400,000 square feet of business park development going on that's going to be 5,000 new jobs here in Columbus. And I've heard it referred to as the perfume park. So please, I know there's a little bit of media, but you have just great activity. That's just one zone. And there are many other companies. You know, Cardinal Health's on the move. Nationwide's on the move. There are thousands of businesses, and if I went into this, we'd be having appetizers before dinner. So I'm going to cut it a bit short in that regard. There are many companies that are investing here, that are doing well, that are prospering, and you're a big part of why that's occurring. And at Huntington, you know, the new guy is going to fix it up and do something. I hope we're beyond that. we're here to stay. We're going to have our sesquicentennial in just a couple of years. We're going to celebrate that, I hope, with all of you in a profound way and reflect your support of us over 150 years, and especially when we needed it. And we're doing this because we believe in our hometown and the region and the state and the Midwest. We have options. We had options. We're not going anywhere. We're thrilled to be here. Now, the resurgence of Ohio in the Midwest is closely aligned to this manufacturing resurgence, but it's not just manufacturing. Certainly, you see industries that have retooled, improving productivity and products, and delivering more efficiently than they've ever been. Industries that here are globally competitive. Globally competitive. You don't have to go to Mexico for lower labor. You don't have to go to Asia for lower labor. We're competitive here because we've been working diligently at creating advanced manufacturing and other skill sets. Now, we've got a vibrant economy, and increasingly one that is relying on technology. So it's not just the large manufacturers, but many small businesses alike are moving with great change in how they're employing technology, and I think we're going to be globally competitive in many industries. We certainly remain the leader in the auto industry in terms of engineering and design here in the Midwest. So a lot to celebrate, not to rest on our laurels. Now, I'm going to share a few statistics. You know, you're a banker, so you're boring, you work with numbers, and I was an economics undergrad, so I'm doubly cursed. But we have a national unemployment rate that feels sticky at 8.1%. As I shared with you earlier, Columbus is 5.9. When I went to school, 5% was structural full employment. We're less than 1% from what used to be thought of as structural full employment. And the numbers keep trending positive for us here in central Ohio. And you see it going the other way with job creation. We have more job creation over the last decade than Cincinnati or Cleveland or the other cities around the state. And it's not just history. If we go forward, one index we look at closely is the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, and they have a state index, a leading index, and it shows Ohio Michigan, Indiana over the last year well above national average in terms of expansion. But importantly, their forward view is that we will outperform over the next 6 months as well. And these next 6 months are turbulent, as we all know. So we've got momentum from our past, but we also have an outlook from a Fed district that is something to be excited about. Now, manufacturing certainly has been a big part of this recovery. Global exports certainly a big part of this recovery, but it's more than that. It's much more than that. This shale boom that just started, this gas and oil shale boom, is projected to put 65,000 new jobs in the state by 2014. And if it's a little late because gas prices are low, it'll be 15 or 16. It's coming. The reserves are here. We have a healthcare engine that few regions have. Just in Columbus, you see that engine. The new nationwide children's hospital this year, number 6. Number 6. Outstanding. The new $1.1 billion James Cancer Hospital on the Wexner Medical Complex at OSU. $1.1 billion investment. Many cities around the world would trade virtually anything to have that kind of investment. And you can go on. You've got the new neuroscience at Riverside Methodist and Mount Carmel's new tower at St. Anne's in Westerville. Healthcare is helping to drive and propel the city and region. We're fortunate. We have this vibrancy in the city, and it's reflected in hotel starts. We have as many hotel starts as cities multiples our size. We got the New Albany Marriott Courtyard, the Hilton Columbus Downtown, Ron Pizzuti's Meridian-branded Joseph Hotel coming on the North Shore. That's a lot of hotel build. And hotel finance is still not easy to come by. That's a lot for any city in the country. So I'm bullish. We know how to make things in the Midwest. We know how to work through economic challenges. The fundamentals, we still are going to need cars. We're going to need steel. We're going to need tool and die. We're going to need basic manufacturing companies. That's not going offshore. It's coming back now. The pendulum has shifted. And we're in a position, unlike some other regions, where we've retained core competencies, skill sets, knowledge, and industry. And that puts us in a great position now to take advantage of some of the emerging manufacturing and other technologies to go forward and advance our manufacturing capabilities. And you see it throughout the state. You would have said a couple of years ago, you won't find a steel mill built in Ohio. You have one being completed in Youngstown. There'll be a tubular steel mill that will support the oil and gas infrastructure, drilling and expansion that's going to go on in Youngstown. So we have these strengths that make us competitive as a region with the world. I want to talk about another strength we have, which is the people we have in the Midwest, and those values I touched on earlier. We have a great knowledge base retained. We have skill sets retained, and we certainly have motivated people, hardworking people, who have been, or in some cases will be trained for these future jobs. And we have many of the raw materials. Think about low-cost, long-term energy. We're sitting on it. We're sitting on it. Iron ore, other deposits. And we're beautifully located. Chicago, New York, Toronto. The driving distance, the radius, the opportunity via road, rail, and air are tremendous. You see it at Rickenbacker. I'm slow at everything. I took my first tour of Rickenbacker about a month ago. Stunning. Stunning what that asset is today and what it represents to our future. It's enormously promising. And when you combine that, sort of that air logistics with the freight activity going on there, very, very exciting. And we're creating that. You need a Norfolk Southern for sure. You need some of the air freight companies, but you also need companies like Nick Safco and Sons, who put the intermodal train facility together for Norfolk and Southern, and others who support the activities there every day. So from Norfolk, Virginia, and as the Panama Canal completes, there's great expectation and competition between Norfolk, Savannah, Houston, to get that cargo activity. We will get more than our fair share, I think, coming out of Norfolk, clearing through our investment at Rickenbacker and continuing to expand. And that's why some of the incremental investments, we had the $16 million announcement earlier this year on the connector project. Very important. We continue to invest. You know, this economic great recession has caused pullbacks in other areas. We keep investing in our infrastructure. As it turns globally, we will benefit from that. Speed to market now is vital. Speed to market is vital. And if you're in a consumer business, certainly you have traditional seasonal factors, but think of the confidence swings by the headlines that come out of Europe, Asia, the U.S. Confidence swings are more volatile than at any point since they've been measured. And so speed to market matters. That asset at Rickenbacker matters. Now, the economy's not fully recovered, for sure, but here it's relatively stable. Relatively stable. This resiliency and the growth trajectory we are on bodes very, very well for us. The cost of labor now in the Midwest is competitive, nationally and internationally, with the productivity that comes with the skill sets of the workforce here. You see that for sure in auto. Honda's making massive investments. They're not alone. You see that in northern Ohio, and you see it certainly in Michigan as well. We're in a position to globally compete. And fortunately, in Ohio, we've, through your efforts and leadership, we've got momentum around job creation. And that, I think, will continue, because the more people that are employed, the more people invest, spend, buy houses, upgrade houses, save for retirement, education. All of those have economic trickler impacts. And fortunately for us, we didn't have that housing inflation, and we seem to be settling down with that historic housing inflation. We seem to be settling down now with housing appreciation starting to show up in the numbers throughout the state, and certainly here in central Ohio. And you're seeing it in pockets in the Midwest states, Michigan and Indiana as well. So the year-over-year growth in the home purchase price index was great news in the second quarter, and the early indicators from the REITs and others will be continuing momentum in the third quarter. So think about this. Home prices historically affordable versus what had been going on. Labor markets improving. Incomes increasing. That's going to help drive this recovery in the real estate market. And we have it here in central Ohio in terms of location, locational advantage. So I believe this market will be coming back faster than the other markets in the state. But the state will outperform the nation in housing as well. And that's one of the next phases, I think, of our expansion and our recovery. This location, our resources, our workforce, our leadership, we have a lot of advantages and momentum as we move forward. Now, it helps having larger businesses, but it's especially helpful to have those businesses feel rooted to the community. And you have that in the Midwest, uniquely. You don't have this phenomenon in Boston or Philly or other areas, or LA, other areas of the country that I've lived in. We have it. We have it here. And so we have a responsibility, I believe, a responsibility to be supportive in the community. And we try and reflect your confidence and support of us by what we do in the community and what we give back. And I think a number of the larger companies, uniquely here in the Midwest, also reflect those values. So good times for sure ahead of us, although we have some uncertainty to work through in the near term. Now at Huntington, we talk about being local and why local matters. And we start with our hometown as our example as we work around our footprint. And I believe, again, with your advice and support, your willingness to partner, that we will become even a better partner in the years ahead. And that partnership, I hope, will benefit the community, but as I share with our colleagues, I think we have a vital role in the recovery. We need to be lending money. We need to be making growth attainable for businesses, who in turn will create jobs. We need to be helping consumers. They need auto loans. The average age of a car is higher than it's ever been. There's going to be a lot of auto lending activity. We need to help consumers enjoy these low rates in terms of home refinancing and to figure out how to stretch when that makes sense to do that. We certainly need to be supporting the businesses that are expanding. I'll mention a few, but there are many. One I want to just touch on is, I was talking to the business owner here. This is the Diamond Seller. I am one of their better customers, I suspect. We just had our 25th year anniversary. So I was talking to the owner, Andy Johnson, Saturday night, and we've had an ongoing dialogue. In 2009, late 2000, you couldn't tell where the floor was. there was so much uncertainty. Now they're expanding into other states and certainly doing very, very well here because of this community and what's going on. And we're able to be supportive confidently of that sort of expansion. Another one, locally, you know, agriculture is 10% of the Midwest economy. 10%. It's huge. And so when a company like JD Equipment, who represents John Deere, wants to expand, put more retail location and products out, that's really important. That's really important. That, in this case, they're our customer, but banks generally are in a position to be supportive, to be supportive. I'll give you just one other one to show sort of a range. We have a great company that does space-age composites. I can say it. I don't think I understand what that is, but Acoustifiber, Midwest Acoustifiber, is now a sole source supplier for one of the GM vehicle platforms with the benefit of their technology and their engineering. We have a lot of resources here. So let me conclude with a couple of thoughts. I think the prospects for us here in Central Ohio and in Ohio and the Midwest are very bright. I think this recovery belt is something we need to be championing in our unique ways. We're not out of the woods. 2013 could be a very challenging year with this fiscal cliff and the lack of capacity to provide direction that we are currently faced with. We're going to overcome that. These Eurozone headwinds, we're going to overcome. Asia slowing down, we're going to overcome that too. But it will make things a bit uneven, a bit uneven. So we're not out of the woods yet. And this may prove to be a protracted cycle as we look back. Already feels like it is to me. But I know a number of you are doing very, very well with your businesses. But I think this fortitude of staying with it, staying committed, staying focused, executing, believing that tomorrow's a better day, that we're going to get through it, will help rebuild and expand the Midwest, Ohio, and Central Ohio. We've done this for decades. We've shown this fortitude. We've shown this commitment. And as I know we will do before, I think there's a yet even better day for us here in this wonderful community in Central Ohio and Columbus. So it is with great, a great sense of energy and excitement that, notwithstanding the challenges we have before us, I believe the optimism I've tried to convey today is the reality that we will be experiencing in the years ahead. We've got to work through issues for sure. We will do that. And you've done that for decades here. Thank you for being here today and enjoyed our time together.
Thank you, Steve. If Dr. Gee isn't here, somebody ought to give him a call and tell him he's got a new head cheerleader for the Buckeyes. That was terrific. Thank you. We always entertain questions here at the Metropolitan Club. So if you have one, please step up to the mic. I got to tell you that CMC records all of its forums for broadcast on YouTube, streaming on CMC's website, and the Columbus Metropolitan Library website. If you have a question, please go to the microphone, introduce yourself, and ask your question, and we thank you in advance for not making long editorial comments. So who's first up? No questions? Come on. There we go. Todd?
Todd Tooney with City Air. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your notion of recovery belt versus rust belt, and you spoke really highly of all these great investments that are happening in our community, both on the business side and on the philanthropic side. And so I'd like for you to just share a little bit about what you see Huntington's vision is for its investment on the philanthropic side in our community to help support kind of this overarching business, workforce development, education support.
Sure. Thanks. Was that a softball? I thought
He's vice chair.
I thought we were going to get tough questions. So, our philanthropy is focused on communities of need. Communities of need. It's focused on education. It's focused on trying to, at a grassroots level, make a difference with shelters, with other forms of improving the quality of life. And this recovery I spoke about is not being enjoyed by all members of our community, our city, our county. You see very high unemployment levels in some segments of the community. And that's why we were so thrilled Monday, so thanks for the softball, to be able to step up with Stephanie Hightower in the Urban League, their board and their colleagues, and help with an ambitious plan that they're going to execute over the next few years by making a commitment of $1 million as part of a $3 million campaign. Their focus is on early childhood education. I certainly am a firm believer it's got to start there, and also on creating employment opportunities and skill sets, and hopefully even some new businesses in our community, in the minority community, taking people especially who have incarceration records and bringing them into the workforce. So that reflects what we're trying to do in other ways and with other partners. Everything we do is with partners. And this is a rich community in terms of great partners. Thanks for the question. Yes.
I'm Jane Scott, and I'm with the Columbus Metropolitan Club. Last week we had quite a bit of conversation with another bank in town, discussing some of the issues and some of the challenges we face because of the lack of economic literacy in our community, in the country, and probably in the world. Can you discuss that just a little bit in terms of what Huntington specifically is doing and what maybe we as a community can do to help people understand and to work within our economy a little better?
Yeah, I think this is a big issue for us as a society. We seem to have lost somehow over the years the ability to communicate and educate sort of fundamental budget management, investment, banking, access to credit. There are a variety of topics along those lines. And what we are doing, and there's always room to do more of it, is trying to reach into the community in different areas, and start to deliver those educational elements. So in 2009, we partnered with Columbus Housing Partnership. Amy Claiborne's team is just outstanding, with a view of trying to help individuals in neighborhoods understand how to access housing, because housing was relatively affordable, and secondly, how to stay in their house if they were behind or in foreclosure. Amy taught us a lot. All of our partners teach us a lot. That's one example. There are many, many others. We try and do this early. Part of our OSU partnership is to provide financial education, frankly, to all the incoming freshmen at OSU. And we're working programmatically to do that. But there are many different areas in the community, ranging from earned income tax credit, prep, and other activities that we extend into the community. But we're open to suggestions as well. Yes, sir.
Clarence Simmons, Simcoe Construction. Thank you for your time here. We appreciate it. Mr. Steinour, how do you do all this? We know you're Superman, but we also know that you have a great team with team members such as Keith Sanders, Tracy Dunn, Barbara, the whole nine, Stephen Fields. How do you keep that team motivated to continue to make sure you have your finger on the pulse where you guys can continue to be a leader here in this community?
You touched on something that's very important. I feel we have a great team as well. And there are other team members who are here, Jim Kunk, many others who are here, and certainly even a lot more, thousands more behind me. Together, we talk about what we'd like to do. We obviously get a few requests with regularity, and we try and channel that in ways that meet our objectives and what we want to do in the partnership, with a view of sharing our success. The more successful we are, the more we should give back, the more we should do in the community. And we've used a bike ride as an example of how we can come together as a company, because we've never done that. Jim Kunk was, championed the first Pelotonia team ride, their first year. I think it was 50 riders, half of them were his family. And so, to be able to bring our colleagues together, and that's just one, but one of the great things I like to do is a little elementary school on the hill that every year we go in and try and help the teachers open it up and repaint and refer. These kids, 90+%, are at or below poverty. So for us to be able to get 150 volunteers in for a weekend, and it means a lot to us. Frankly, we get more than we give. And so we hope to be able to keep doing that in different ways throughout the community, and we look to partner in everything we do.
Any further questions?
No earnings announcements or anything? Good. Thank you very much.
Well, Steve, thank you so much. It's a real upper, it's a real encouragement, and it's so great to have you continue the fine efforts of the Huntington in our community.